Hi, today we're going to look at working with cells and worksheets in Excel. So first of all, if you have some cells like we have on the screen here and you want to select a lot of adjacent cells, all you need to do is click on the first cell you need, click on your left mouse button and hold it down until you have the cells you need, and then you can just let go and now you have selected that cells. Also, another way of doing it is selecting anywhere inside a block of data like you see here, press Ctrl and A, and that will select any continuous block of text. It will still work if you have gaps in the text, so if I take a gap out of there and I press Ctrl A, it will still make a square block of text and you will select all the cells. If you want to select all the cells in the whole worksheet, you have to press Ctrl and A a second time. Just to show you again, Ctrl and A once, select a block of cell, Ctrl and A the second time will select a whole worksheet. The next thing we want to look at is how to select cells that are not next to each other. In this case, you'll select the first cell you need selected, and this time we hold down the Control key and select the other cells you need. So you can see now the cells that selected are not next to each other. When you select cells like this, you can format them and change data in them, but you won't be able to copy and paste. If you try and copy, you'll get a message like that that says it doesn't work on multiple selections. But what you can do, in this case I'll just show you, I'll make a background color of yellow, so you can just see you can change formatting, you can even change the values in there by selecting cells that are not adjacent. The next thing I want to show you is how to merge cells. In this setting that I have here, I have a heading and some arbitrary data next to it. If you want to merge these cells, in other words you want to make all of this from there to there one cell, what you need to do is select the data and then here on the top click on merge and center. You will get this message that said merging cells only keeps the upper left value and discard the other values. What it means, if I click on OK, your heading that you had on the left hand side becomes that value, and all the other values that were next to it, is 1, 2, 3 and 4, now has been deleted and it's gone. So be careful if you have data like that. Even if you have multiple rows, so in this case I have 2 rows with data, if I select all of this together, you can merge multiple rows and columns. If I say merge and center now, it will give you the same message and you'll see your heading there. In this example, it deleted the second row and everything after the first column. If you undo this, so how you unmerge any cell, you select the merge cell, go here to the alignment group in the home tab and select unmerged cells. But as you can see now, the data that was next to that is missing. And same here, if I unmerge these cells, that second column is gone, second row is gone, and all the other column data. So be careful when you merge and unmerge cells. I work a lot with data, so for me I almost never merge cells. And the issue with data and merging cells is you cannot filter through a merged cell. So if I have, let's suppose this is a merged cell, and I have data on top and below, I will not be able to sort this data because of the merge cell in the middle. You won't be able to sort it, you can't filter it, so that becomes quite a hassle working with this merge cells in lots of data. The only place I would suggest you use merge cells is in sheets that's used for reporting and sheets that doesn't change much, but that's how you would use it. If you have some merge cells, so I'm going to merge 2 more. So now I've merged a few cells. The way you can find merge cells is in the home tab here at the end which says editing, you can click on find and select, and then on find. In the find tab here you click on format, and here under the alignment tab you will find merge cells. If you click on OK, if you just click find next, you will see find next, but if you click on find all, you will see here that it now lists all the places we have merged cells. So sometimes if you have some merged cells, it's not quite obvious where they are, and this will help you finding them. To insert a new worksheet into a workbook, you can go right here to the bottom. You can right click and say insert, and then select worksheet, and you'll have a new worksheet. Or at the end of the tabs here, you'll see there's an icon. If you click on that, it will also add a new sheet. It will normally add a sheet wherever you are. So if I currently go to sheet 8 and now click on the icon, it will add it after that sheet. If I go to sheet 4 and add the plus, it will add it after that sheet. So wherever you want the sheet to be next, you have to click on that sheet first and then click on this button. I'm currently using Office 365, so I have this little plus symbol, but the icon looks slightly different in all the versions of Excel, but it works in exactly the same way. The shortcut to add another worksheet is Shift and F11, and every time you press that, you will see it adds a new sheet as well. Another way to insert a worksheet as well is click on the Home tab. Under the Cells group, you'll see as Insert, and there's Insert Sheet as well, and now I've added another sheet. Deleting worksheets, clicking on any of these worksheets, so like worksheet 8, if I right click on it and say delete, it's gone. And now this is one of the things you have to be careful with. Once you delete a worksheet, there is no undo. If I press Ctrl Z, which is undo, you'll just see there is nothing to undo, so you cannot recover a delete sheet, so be careful when you delete a worksheet. Another way of deleting a worksheet again is also clicking on the Home tab. Under Cells, you'll see it is delete, and there at the bottom it says delete sheet, and now that sheet's also gone. So once you've deleted the worksheet, the thing to remember is that you cannot then get it back. The next thing we're going to look at is how to copy a worksheet. So let's go back to our sheet with some data on. Let's pick sheet 1. So there's some data on here. To copy this sheet, all you have to do is hold in the Control key, and while you're on the sheet 1 at the bottom, click on the left click button and drag it to the right. You'll see here that the icon of the little plus button means you're busy copying, and if you leave this mouse there, you'll see you'll have a copy of that sheet. Another way to copy a sheet is also simply to right click and say move or copy, and at the bottom you say create a copy, and then you can decide where you want it. So if I want it after sheet 1 the second copy, I click OK, and now you'll see sheet 1 the second copy. I said after, but I mean before. So in this case, if you right click again, say move and copy, select sheet 3, this will create it between sheet 2 and 3, and there you go. So how do you move a worksheet? Clicking and holding down the button at the bottom, you'll see a little down arrow, and now you can just drag it left or right, and wherever you leave your mouse, that is where you will move the sheet to. What you can also do for move and copy is to right click. If I say click move or copy, currently it says create a copy if you want to copy it, otherwise it will move it. If you have multiple workbooks open, you can select another workbook. You can either move it or copy it to another workbook as well. In this case, I don't have another workbook open. What I can do is click and create a copy and select a new workbook, and I click OK, and this will open a brand new workbook where my sheet has been copied into. If I go back to the previous sheet, you'll see it's still there as well. Moving a sheet, so this sheet 1 version 3, if I right click and say move and copy, this time I'm not going to create a copy, I'm going to move it. So I'm just going to say move to book 3, which is the other workbook I've got open now. If I click OK, now it's gone over here, and if I look into the other workbook, you will see that there's the other sheet. So there's another way of moving it. If you want to see multiple workbooks next to each other, you can click here on top on the View tab, where it's on the Arrange All and say Vertical for example, and it will put your two worksheets next to each other. So if you remember, I said you can click on a cell and move it left or right. Let me just click on it, so you can move it left or right. But if you have multiple workbooks open next to each other, you can physically move it across, and now I've moved it from the one workbook to another. Same again, if I press Ctrl and click on it, you'll see the little plus, and now I can copy and move it into another worksheet. So this is a useful way of moving it between workbooks. If you want to rename a worksheet, all you need to do is right click on it, click on rename, and give it a new name. And again, I'll just rename another one, right click, rename, and that's how you rename a sheet. Alternative to that is if you double click on the sheet name, you'll see it gets highlighted, the word, and you can put on your new workbook name. So that's two ways. You can either right click or double click on the actual workbook. In this example, you'll see there's quite a few worksheets on a workbook. If you quickly want to find a specific worksheet in a workbook with multiple worksheets, you'll see here on the left bottom right corner is normally 2 arrows. In all the versions you'll see 4 sets of arrows. That doesn't matter. If you go right between the 2 sets of arrows and right click there, you'll see a whole list of the sheets, and you can select any one, click OK, and then that sheet will get activated. Also, if I can go back there, in the older versions of Excel you'll only see the first few worksheets listed here, normally quite a high number, I can't remember right now, something like 20, and at the bottom it will say more sheets, and if you click on that you'll see all the sheets like I'm seeing it now. Currently what I'm using here is Office 365, and here there is not that limitation initially of showing you all the worksheets. If I am on a worksheet and I just want to cycle through them, what I can do is hold down the Control key and click page down, and it will cycle through them, or page up and it will cycle backwards. The next thing I want to show you is how you can group worksheets. Currently I've got sheet 1 selected, and that's the worksheet I'm working on. If I hold down the Shift key and select another worksheet, so now you'll see worksheet 1 and 2 is highlighted. That means those 2 worksheets are now grouped. What does that mean? While they are grouped, if I, for instance, click on cell C4 and put the value and say do some formatting, I'm going to highlight this column and make it yellow. While this was selected, I've done those changes on both the sheets. To unselect them, just select any other sheet and you'll see the selections has gone down to only 1 sheet. But now if you look in sheet 1 and 2, you'll see whatever I've done to 1 I've also done to 2. You can also select sheets by selecting sheet 1, holding down the Control key, and then say sheet 3. Now the sheets that I've selected are not next to each other, and if I now say make a change, you will see now after I ungroup them that now sheet 1 and 3 has got that change. The last thing I want to show you here is if you right click at the bottom on any of these tabs, there's also an option that says select all sheets. By selecting that you'll have the whole workbook, and I can, for instance, do a formatting or a value change, and now to ungroup them you just right click and click ungroup sheets. Now if I had, say for example, sheet 1 and 3 grouped, I said you must click somewhere else to unselect them, but that ungroup will work for here as well by right clicking and say ungroup sheets. This is very useful if you need to make changes to multiple sheets to get normally the look and feel the same for all of them. So this is this lesson on working with cells and worksheets in Excel.
Hi, this is Anton from the Data Developer channel. If you've liked this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up below and subscribing to the channel. And thank you for watching.